Good morning. Um, I'm not sure how long it has been. I've been sick for a week. Then I was very, very busy making stuff for customers and all the stuff, and etc., etc., and busy with all this stuff. There are a couple of surprises. Well, actually, one surprise. Not gonna tell you about just yet. Maybe yes, I don't know. Gonna figure it out in a minute. Anyways, I don't remember which episode this is, and it doesn't really matter because I think this should be episode 2 on how to fix the engine management light on an MR2. The pesky engine management light, which sometimes come on actually for no reason. Anyways, the way you sort it out, I've seen it on the, I'll show you on the previous episode, and this is the progression. It's very easy, actually. There's not much you have to do. Get the angle ground there, just cut a tiny hole in your bulkhead, and yeah, put the solution in. We provide the mounts for this solution, so it's fairly easy. Right, jokes aside, I want to show you how this is going. So as you see, actually, this is, I'm not gonna put it up, but you can see the standard plenum will just go around the injectors and the fuel rate, and it's actually, I think, sticking out less than this plenum here. So if I put the phone here, you can actually see the line where the bulkhead is. It really isn't much to put this engine in if you want to massage the bulkhead, but obviously would it fit? Yeah, probably. Would it be stupid? Of course it would be stupid, because anything else will be, any job from the front of the engine, it will be engine out, and it's not very, clever to make it that way. And even people, I know young guys with the K20 swaps, they do this modification on the bulkhead for the easier access to the engine, because once you build a car and it's running and it's on the road, you're happy because it pulls, it's strong, and it's fast and all that stuff. But then comes time to service it, comes time to maybe change a faulty injector or change the alternator or whatever. You have small, I don't know, a coolant leak from one of the hoses that are in the front of the engine. You don't want any of these jobs to be engine out, although it's possible and it's fairly easy to get these engines out. But once you have everything assembled, you have to remove all the boost pipes and all this. It's like, nah, it's not doable, when this is actually a fairly common modification. And I see the point, because there's nothing structural that you remove in him. This is tin foil. You can literally bend this by hand easily, and obviously all the structural parts are actually untouched. Now, what else on this side? Obviously this, I want to do it nicely, nice cover like on the Renault Clio's V6 rear engines and all the other obviously rear engine cars. But I don't want to do a cover that goes from here just around the engine just to cover it. I think we're gonna go actually from here and go up alongside obviously the original trim, and go up till this height. Now this height is roughly in the same position, the same height as the standard kind of like a plastic cover is there. Is actually mounted on the hinges, because that is the place where your standard soft top folds in, and I want that to be still possible. So, but also obviously close the whole thing for two reasons. First of all, to keep everything tidy and nice. You're not gonna use this compartment anyway. Let's make it as a whole engine bay. Obviously it's not gonna be all the way down, it's gonna be only from here. So on this side you're gonna have all the electrics, ECUs. On that side there's nothing gonna be there, maybe your storage, whatever. But the second and the main reason is that inside the engine bay, if you want to go for bigger power, or you want to use the car on the track, there's a plenty of space for there, for example, to put a fuel sweet pot. So in that case, the whole fuel system is gonna be there. It doesn't have to go around or anything. It's literally there. Your sweet pot, your fuel pumps, you whatever you want to put, your fuel pressure regulator. Your lines are gonna be very short and very easy, because you get them from the sweet pot literally to that is the fuel rail. I'm using the standard vr6 fuel rail modified. This is, well, I still have to modify it, but I actually like it. I don't dislike it, so I'm gonna use this one. Also, this plenum is not one of the greatest ones, but turns out to be not that bad actually. And this is not going to be massive build on this engine, so it's doing just fine. So we're going to leave it. But also, if you fancy doing a massive plenum, an equal flow plenum, or whatever comes to your mind, there is just so much room for whatever plenum comes to your mind, whatever pleases you. You can build a huge one, a small one, again, dual chamber one, anything, because there is a plenty of space for it. And I like that possibility, because if you want to build over 1,000 brake horsepower engine, you have no limitations on the space. Obviously, you know, if you're gonna build 1,000 and over horsepower vr6, which is quite common actually on these engines, is not very difficult, then maybe you shouldn't fit it in the Mr2, because yeah, where do you want to go? You know, to the moon? It's ridiculous. But if you want to, why not? You want to get a car that is 1:1 power to weight ratio. With these, easy peasy. So, you know, I don't think many people would do it, but there is a possibility to do it. There's no limitations with this build, and this is what I like. And every time that's what we're doing. You know, in the 1.8, for example, it's very easy because you don't have to modify none of this. And we have equal flow plenum on Steve's car, and it fits perfectly. There's plenty of space, so that's fine. But obviously with the vr6, it's different. But not just for the engine size. I'm going to explain in a second. Now back here, I was thinking battery right there. A nice battery tray like we have on our test engine. We have it for the Motamic. Obviously, we've got a ECU here. Don't have a battery here for a moment. They are pretty nice, you know, easy to use, and they are battery specific. You can buy them for the specific batteries, so the size comes right for the battery using. So that's good. For example, just keep everything nice and simple. The battery is there. All electrics are here. Very close here. It's all nice and compact, but at the same time, plenty of space to walk on it. I mean, this car keeps surprising me. We're finding this solution is actually very easy to find. On the other builds, I used to, you know, invent in my ass off to make lots of stuff to work. You know, sometimes you fit the engine and it's great, but then to do all this stuff, to fit the intercooler or the charge cooler or the plenum, there was lack of space and everything. But these bloody chassis, they just, you know, they're just great. And this is probably one of the reasons I don't do any other builds. I mean, I used to build the race cars, proper stuff, you know, I mean, with big specs and etc., etc. And not only race cars, race trucks, you know, four-wheel drives and loads of different stuff. And then I just had enough after over 20 years doing this. But this chassis, honestly, it's just a pleasure to work on it. We're making new stuff, you know. It was a 1.9 TDI first. Actually, first it was a K24, which surprisingly I didn't actually like it. But that's another topic. It's not I don't like the engine, I don't like the way it fitted. So it's like, you know what, it's too expensive in UK, blah blah. But you know this, so I'm not gonna repeat myself. So I fitted 1.9 TDI just for the laugh, and it was a great laugh. That's actually, I think I want another one because it was just too good. It was just, you know, strange, you know, it's a diesel in a Mr2, but it was fast, you know, fast enough to have you, you know, to get a lot of fun. Anyways, back to this, you know, then we had 1.8 20 valve, which again, you know, a lot of people for some stupid reason don't like them, because there's no reason to not to like them. Anyone says anything bad about them is because they don't know them good enough. Because they're great, you know, they really are good, and I think they are at the same point as K20s, if not slightly better in certain points of world. Because, for example, we have them very cheap. K20s here are quite expensive, and to modify them to get boost, it's more expensive than 1.8 Volkswagen. So, and then top hours and all the stuff, performance, they are pretty much equal. Anyways. And that fitted extremely well, like really nice. As a matter of fact, we've done a few of them and it's brilliant. And then the V6, vr6 and vr5 supposed to happen of this year, end of this year, and we just at the beginning, and this actually happened end of last year. So we're massively full with timing. I'm glad we did it, because, you know, it's It was a bit filling. The engine mounts don't fit obviously because it's completely different position. So I'm gonna show you now. It's not just about the engine size; it's about the engine position. But the engine size, the engine position, I'm gonna explain. So many people say, okay, these are great engines, blah blah, but they're big and they're heavy. How the handling goes? And this is a valid point. You don't wanna have tons of power that the car doesn't handle anymore. Because one of the best things about these cars are they are handling very good. And for anyone to say is a good is a chick's car, hairdresser's car, yes, I'm with you. I didn't like them at the beginning as well, but the moment you drive them, you don't see the car inside. You just have the feeling from the car, from the chassis, and the feedback from the driving, and it's absolutely awesome. They handle amazing. So the moment you drive one, you get out, you see them with a completely different eyes. Everything disappears, and then you have to do just to make them right. I mean, this is okay. He's collecting dust because he doesn't have a time to work on it. But look at it, just some proper rubber, on the edge of the fenders. Pull the fenders up if you want a little bit. You don't need much. The bumper, well, we got a giant intake cooler on the bumper, under the bumper, because obviously this is huge turbo and big power, etc., etc. And even Steve, which he actually didn't like them with the roof down or soft top. That's why he has, actually this is his roof. He bought that one because this is the only way he liked them. But once you fit the roll cage, this thing is absolutely awesome. I like them. I like them very much, even outside as they look like. There's very little to make them look very good. Obviously, there are a lot of people making this, I was gonna say something bad, so I'm not gonna say it, but they look, it's too much bling, too much plastic and stuff around. I like a bit of a Mad Max style, like proper using the car. This, I love it. I love it. Even even the dust suits it. Anyways, back to the engine size, because this engine, yes, it is heavy. Actually, it is much lighter than we are expecting against the 1.8. So there's not a huge amount of difference. Of course, it is heavier. Of course, it is bigger. So to compensate the weight, we're gonna move the weight, because sometimes it's not just the weight itself, but it's the weight distribution. Because you can have much heavier cars and they handle still amazing. Why? Because the weight distribution is worked out in the proper way. So if you notice this engine, actually if you see it from here, there's a latch here, but you see, so on this perspective you don't see it, but this is the bulkhead. Well, the bulkhead is as a reference. If you run down your hand, you find out just the edge of the back of the cylinder head. It's literally in the front of it. I mean, everything is here. So it's moved forward by, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches roughly. It's not very important to measure how much, so I don't remember. I don't know, because I didn't actually measure, but you can see visually even how much forward this engine is. So what we did, we just took that extra weight and moved it forward towards the center of the car. So this should greatly more than compensate for the gain of weight. And then if you're thinking, yeah, but is it worth it? It's a vr6. You can have them, in 12 valve, 24 valve, 2.8, 3.2, even the new 3.6s, and if you put, this one, we're not gonna rebuild the engine. We're gonna leave it because it's nice and healthy. We're just gonna add a turbo, soft boost, not much, probably half a bar, and that's pretty much almost 50%. Well, if you're gonna get 0.6 of a bar, you're gonna have 50% of power increase and torque increase. And trust me, that's more than plenty for one of these. You're gonna shit yourself. That's in the simple words. So yes, it definitely is worth it. But again, it's the battle between, so which one is better in the MR2, the VR6 or the VR5, because pretty much the same. It's just the VR5 has more space on this side. It's just missing one cylinder. And these sound exotic as well. But both these engines are very great. There's nothing bad we can say about these two engines, neither VR5 or VR6. But also the 1.8. I'm still of opinion that the 1.8 20 valve, the Volkswagen engine, manual gearbox in MR2 is the perfect balance. That is still the best option. I'm not saying it's best for everyone. Hence we have different engines in them, but in overall, that I think is the best one because of the simplicity of the build, of the usability. Can you say it? Is a word? I don't know, but it's very easy to live with that engine because it's easy to go in, it's easy to service, easy to work on it, much easier than any other engine swaps we've seen, and much easier than the standard, like 100 times better than standard. Not even talking about performance stuff. Performance ways, and we've done, the standard ones, the 225 brakes, BAM spec engines, KO 4 turbos, just with the remap 280 brakes. Literally, there's no lag. I mean, you can drive in any gear, and the power is there, the torque is there. It's even strange to think that the only 1.8 four-cylinder engine can have such a torque, because you're sitting in a go-kart, so you feel everything. Actually, I think the 1.8 turbo have a little bit more torque than the vr6 NA. We're not talking turbo, because turbo, then once you turbo the VR, is like, all right, everything out the window. It's a completely different ball game. But then, 5, 6, 700 brakes, 800 brakes, 1.8, no problems. They love big turbos, so again, it's a big war. It can win. They're both great engines, and the beauty is there is something for everyone. If you like the vr6, vr6. If you want a vr5, vr5. If you want a 1.8, 1.8. Who cares? There is something to satisfy everyone. And the beauty is, charge cooler fits, is exactly the same kit, obviously fits all of them. I'm not sure if we're gonna supply any soon the full comprehensive kit. Obviously we got engine mounts, we got electrics, we got the drive shafts, we got the charge cooler if you want to go turbo, so the majority of the stuff is there. The next we're gonna work on is this cover. I want to do some sort of kit that you can buy and do it yourself in a very easy way. And then obviously pipes for the charge cooler, it depends what plenum you're using. It depends what exhaust manifold you're using, and depends what turbo you're using. But if you're using something different than us, like with the 1.8s we do, send us your stuff, send me your exhaust manifold with the turbo, and I'll build your exhaust. Same for the plenum. Send me the plenum, and I finish to build your turbo system. No problems. So, anyways, this is the episode 2 of how to fix the engine management light, pesky engine management light, on the MR2. I hope you like it, and yeah, we go forward.